how are you doing on that journey? How are you doing at increasing your self-awareness and your emotional management? And listen, don't get it twisted. Why do I talk about all this emotions and stuff? Is so that our emotions don't control us. What I'm not saying is the emotions are the center of our universe, right? The center of our human experience. No, emotions are not. They should not be. Emotions controlled me for so long, and I was unaware of it the whole time, that I'm hoping that some of these messages will affect you guys and impact you all in a way that emotions will stop controlling your life also. Welcome to the EQ Gangster podcast, where you will learn practical tools to grow your mental and emotional health and intelligence to be the best version of yourself, both at work and at home. It is real, raw, and transformational. The journey of emotional growth isn't easy, but it's worth it. I believe in you. This episode is sponsored by Arrowhead Leadership Consulting. What are your organization's biggest pain points right now? Low EQ leaders, weak managers, toxic culture, high turnover, low engagement, leader development, lagging behind company growth, no company career path. Let us know if your organization needs leadership coaching, workshops, training, or keynotes. Visit arrowhead-leadership.com for more details. Arrowhead-leadership.com. EQ Gangsters, what's up? Hey, y'all. It's been a hot minute since I've done a solo episode. We've had a number of great interviews. So I am thankful for trees. I'm so thankful for trees. I'm so thankful for the variety of trees, the creativity of God expressed through trees. I love and I'm so thankful for historical places, historical homes, historical towns. Now, obviously, that's very relative. I met with a client this week who is from the UK, and their history goes back a little bit further than ours. Or, you think about a friend of mine, one of my college classmates, who went on a trip to Rome with his wife. So that history is obviously very, very different than American history. But nonetheless, I love historical stuff. Not good at it. Not that I'm good at historical stuff. I don't know a bunch of history, which is something I'd love to change at some point in my life. But I'm thankful. I'm thankful for historical stuff. I am thankful for windows. I'm thankful for vehicles, automobiles. I'm thankful for roads. I'm thankful for construction, albeit can be very frustrating at times. Nonetheless, I'm grateful for construction. I'm thankful for construction workers. I'm thankful for landscapers. I'm thankful for excellence in architecture and building. I'm thankful for the excellence that God does. Everything that He has created. When I walk every day, and just the little flowers that nobody notices. This one little petal, the same work to create the same excellence that God did to create the universe. He made the same excellence for a little petal, a flower petal. And it has that, think about all the stuff that goes into creating a flower, photosynthesis and all kind, atoms and all kinds of stuff that is way out of my league. But nonetheless, this amazing, like he's a God of excellence. And it's like, man, how am I approaching my life and my work that same way, with excellence, with a desire for excellence in everything that I do, think, and say? No, I don't. Oh, so that's something, that I want to work on. I'm thankful for vines and ivy. I'm thankful for dogs and pets. I'm thankful for cattle and horses. I am thankful for, oh man, I just had such a great interview recently with a guy named Matt Mills. Some of y'all, hopefully you've heard it. Just hearing his story was so fun and inspiring and encouraging. And success is when preparedness and opportunity meet. I've heard that. You guys have probably all heard that before. Man, that is like his life. He busted his butt from 8 years old, it sounds like, until 15. I mean, till today. Like he is a grinder, but like he spent thousands of hours on riding horses, spending time with horses, getting to know horses, and then just so happened to be connected with one of the greatest horse reiners at the time. For 5 years, got to be under his wing, under his mentorship. And then literally like 5 years later, so mid 20s, 25, 26, 27, ends up in a competition, in a tournament against the guy who like mentored him and beat him. Beat him, man. Anyway, such a cool story. So I love getting an opportunity to meet and interview masters in their craft. I love leaves and the sound that wind makes through trees and leaves, the breeze. I'm grateful for clouds. I'm grateful for the sun. I'm thankful for conferences and retreats. I just got back not too long ago, which is I'll do probably a whole series of episodes on this, from a conference called Resoul, a Resoul conference, SOUL, Resoul, put on by One Tree Ministries by a guy named Virgil Tanner. Look him up on LinkedIn. And here's the credibility of the course. The content that he trained us on, that he put us through, the attendees, was the same content that he used to develop his team of missionaries in a hostile environment, and had no attrition over a 3-year time period during COVID with like 50 missionaries, when the normal attrition rate is over 50% for missions organizations. So during the exact same time when everyone else is experiencing an attrition of 50% attrition rate with missionaries, he experienced 0 for 3 years in hostile environments without weapons. So imagine special forces with no weapons, and your whole family's there, and there's no coming back from the deployment. You're deployed. You're overseas. There's no like, hey, you're deployed for 6 months, you're back for 6 months. No, you're deployed with your family doing special forces stuff with no weapons. So it was amazing. It was a very powerful. So very grateful for that experience as well. Okay, so this episode is going to be about, would it be easier to manage emotions if you are better at processing them? Had this conversation with a client recently, and was kind of in a phase or season of dumpy diapers, negative Nancy kind of season. And I know, been working with him for a hot minute, I know that he has gotten better at processing his emotions, but has not fully embraced the concept of befriending his emotions, pleasant and unpleasant, comfortable and uncomfortable emotions. Would those seasons of those low seasons, those valley seasons, would they maybe shorten if we were better at processing our emotions? Here's another one. Would we be able to get more out of our emotions? More out of our valleys if we were better at processing our emotions. So my argument, my hypothesis is yes to both. Our valleys maybe wouldn't last as long. Now, potentially, right? Assuming if all things being equal, right? Because some of the valleys might be due to external circumstances. So, but aside from that, my hypothesis is our valleys would not last as long, and we would get more from our valleys if we were better at increasing our emotional intelligence, our awareness, our self-awareness, and our ability to process and manage our emotions. So, and here's a third hypothesis. The consequences and severity of our valleys would potentially decrease if we had increased self-awareness and increased emotional management tools and skills. Now, man, I've met some folks recently, some Christians recently that just are like emotions are a crock, and it's all you need is to fast and pray kind of thing. And man, and maybe it's just where I'm at in my spiritual journey that I'm just not spiritually mature enough. Man, I did all the spiritual tools and techniques, the fasting, the praying, the reading the Bible for an hour a day or more, memorizing God's word, going to church on Sundays, right? I did all the stuff in the spiritual world, the spiritual disciplines that you're supposed to do, and I still remained emotionally clueless, and it hindered my walk. And I also know some folks that spend a lot of time in God's word that are very emotionally immature, very emotionally immature. So, man, I think it's both and. God created us. I believe we are spiritual beings having a physical experience. And I say physical experience, and part of that physical experience are our emotions. And God created our emotions. So for someone to claim that, well, I just have not seen it. I just haven't seen it. I think it's both and. It's not either or. And this is how God created us. So it's not a knock on God or our faith. I just think it's a limited understanding of how we roll, how God created us. Our spiritual experience is affected by our physical, mental, emotional, social experience. And that's, I think, the right way to look at it. And I think that's the true biblical way to look at it. Our spiritual experience is affected by all those other areas of our life. So anyway, how are you doing on that journey? How are you doing at increasing your self-awareness and your emotional management? And listen, don't get it twisted. Why do I talk about all this emotions and stuff? Is so that our emotions don't control us. What I'm not saying is the emotions are the center of our universe, right? The center of our human experience. No, emotions are not. They should not be. Emotions controlled me for so long, and I was unaware of it the whole time, that I'm hoping that some of these messages will affect you guys and impact you all in a way that emotions will stop controlling your life also. Whether you're aware of it or not, I've got another client that is, I would argue, relatively aware and about his emotions and how his emotions are affecting him. He's got some pretty serious anger issues, and he's still got them. And there's a couple of clients that are in that boat, and I empathize. It's scary work, and I think both of them, it's a fear of jumping into some of the things that led to years and decades of anger. It's scary to go to it's scary. It's scary to work through this stuff and ask God to get involved. If we don't understand how God is and how much he loves us and cares for us, it can be scary to ask God to help us navigate and heal from our anger issues and whatever other issues, emotional dysfunction we have. So some of those tools, I'm going to give you one of the tools, right, for just emotional awareness and emotional management. And you can practice this anytime. You don't need an emotional experience to practice this. Sometimes it's helpful because, if your emotions are popping, it's a lot easier to recognize strong, intense emotions than maybe some of those lower key emotions. But you can practice this any with anything, with base hit kind of life experiences, or with double, triple, home run, grand slam emotional experiences, right? Where they're intense. And it doesn't have to be bad intense. It can be good intense. And I say bad. It can be not just, unpleasant, uncomfortable intense. It could also be comfortable, pleasant intense. Joy, excitement, enthusiasm, exhilaration, significance, fulfillment, encouragement, empowerment, powerful. Those are all can be very comfortable, pleasant emotions. So you can do this exercise with that set of emotions as well. So what you do is list your emotions. You can do it right now. List your emotions. What emotions are you feeling right now? A great app. Check this out. A buddy of mine, client and buddy, just turned me on to this app called How We Feel. And I think it's on the iPhone. Maybe it's on Android devices too. I have no idea. How We Feel. Super dope app. Super dope. You can connect it to your health and fitness. It'll kind of, integrate your health and fitness stuff, your activity stuff, fitness stuff. And you can connect it with some AI stuff to kind of go into some deeper questions. And it's already been asking me some really insightful questions. It's helped me do a deep dive. So How We Feel app is a great resource for this exercise too. So you can use How We Feel app as the tool, So if you don't, you can use this exercise. So list your emotions and listen, don't stop at 3 or 4. I guarantee you're probably feeling more than 3 or 4, especially if it's a significant emotional event, pleasant or unpleasant. I've done this exercise multiple times where it's 10, 15, 20 emotions that I'm feeling. And not all of them are necessarily going to be pleasant at that time. It could be, we can experience pleasant and unpleasant emotions at the same time. Boom, you write those down. Notepad, you can do it on your phone, in your notes, with your notes. Then that's phase 1. Phase 2 of this exercise is now on a scale from 1 to 10, how intensely or strongly are you feeling each of those emotions on a scale from 1 to 10? 10 being the most intense, 1 being least intense. And that's very helpful. And then 3 is organize them. Put all your 10s, then your 9s, then your 8s, then your 7s, then your 6s, then your 5s, and your 4s, and get them organized and really start to okay, sweet. And then phase 4 is start with the 10s and then the 9s. And I've realized I have done this exercise where I've only needed to do the intense ones, the 10s and the 9s, and I don't really even get to the 8s anymore, but the 10s and the 9s. And allow yourself to feel each of those emotions. Take 60 to 90 seconds. Start with the first emotion, joy. I'm feeling super joy right now. Set your alarm for 60 to 90 seconds and allow yourself to only feel joy. If happiness comes in, or excitement or enthusiasm, hey, I see you guys, but we're not going to hang out just yet. Your time's coming. Only feel joy for 90 seconds. Your alarm goes off, and have a pen and paper and write down anything that comes to mind, any thought that comes to mind, or the thought or emotion that comes to mind during that 90 seconds. But again, only allow yourself to feel joy. Timer goes off, then go to the next emotion, enthusiasm. Boom. Start it up again, 90 seconds. Only allow yourself to feel enthusiasm for 90 seconds. Write pen and paper, write your stuff down. Obviously, do the exact same thing with any unpleasant emotions as well. And the whole point of this exercise, again, is not for the emotions become the center of your life, it's so that they don't become the center of your life. Unaddressed emotions don't get better over time. They only compound and magnify and amplify. If you don't allow yourself to acknowledge and process these emotions, they will grow. They won't just keep knocking at the door. It starts with a soft little tap on the door. Those they will start knocking harder and harder. Pretty soon start banging on your door until it turns into an emotional knot, an emotional Charlie horse, and now you get emotionally triggered and emotionally hijacked, and now it's all bad news. So here's the question. How would your life look if you were more aware of your emotions and you were able to acknowledge and process them much more effectively? You had better emotional jujitsu. If when your emotions popped up, boom, you rolled with each one. Hey, awesome. Thanks for that roll. Great roll. Anger. Hey, man, sadness. Thank you for that roll. Great roll. Hey, depression, man. Thank you so much for that roll. I learned a bunch from you from that roll. Learned some really good stuff, some really good moves. Really appreciate that. Right? What if we looked at our emotions differently? How would our life be different? How would our life be different? Would our emotions then control us? I would argue they would not control us anymore. And we could live a lot less emotionally constipated. And we could experience these emotions, roll with these emotions without fear or trepidation or hesitance. So anyway, just boom, some things to chew on today. Hopefully, so one of those tools will be helpful. If you try those out, man, I'd love to hear how they worked for you, how they went for you. And if you rock the How We Feel app, we'd love to hear, what do you think about that? Try it out for a little while, a couple weeks. I'd try it at least for a couple weeks, because it'll also start to show you trends. Okay, the mornings you're starting off, kicking off each day pretty dope. Evenings, man, you're kind of a little struggle bus there. Right? It'll start to reveal some of those emotional patterns. So anyway, just try. If you try some of those things out, let me know. Thank you for being a part of this journey with me and letting me be part of the journey with you. And emotionally healthy people help heal other people emotionally. If you need any type of coaching or training or workshops, either individually or for your organization, please hit me up. Don't hesitate to reach out and let me know. Noble@arrowhead-leadership.com or noble@eqgangster.com. Either one will get to me. So appreciate, again, your willingness to work on this stuff.